Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another stream of Hugo's Desk. I hope you can all hear me well. I think the sound is okay. Please do let me know if the sound is all good. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's a bit early than usual. We usually do these streams a bit later in the day. But the whole point of this was because we were going to redirect our streams to the Foundry stream, which was a stream that was going to happen at 4 o'clock, which was a stream about Nuke 16. But as far as I can see, I think the Foundry has postponed that stream. I think so, because at least I got an email last night, like one of these mass emails to everyone, saying that the stream was postponed. And I believe if I go to their YouTube channel now, I can see that it's only going to happen in a month from now. So, as maybe someone on the chat knows something about this, but there was supposed to be a stream from the Foundry at 4 o'clock about Nuke 16, but I think it's postponed. If I go to the page now, it says in 27 days. So maybe someone can confirm on the chat about this. If it still happens today, of course, we will redirect to the stream at 4 o'clock. But I don't believe it will happen. But yeah, that's why we're doing it so early. Also, I guess it also serves as a bit of a test to see if this works as well at this hour. So yeah, but yeah, today we are going to do the radio show call-in. So this is something that I really enjoyed last week. I really wanted to thank everyone last week for being here and for supporting me so much. It was a really great stream last week. We had over, it's already with 1,500 views. We had over almost 1,000 people watching during the day between YouTube and Twitch. It was fantastic. I'm so happy with the feedback and so happy with all the messages I got. Thank you so much for supporting the stream this much. And a lot of people had a lot to say. And with that in mind, I really want to do this more often. And so I'm going to try to do this stream, this radio show every week. Sometimes I won't be able to do it because maybe I have other compromised or other projects or other things going on, but I will try my best to do it every week. That's at least my plan. And I think because, mostly because people have so much to say, we had so much conversation at that day, and I kind of have a feeling that we had so much more that we could have said. So that's why we're going to do it more often. Now, before we start the proceedings with the radio show, which I have a link that I will share in a second, and remember how this works. It's open to anyone. Anyone on the chat can call in. They can talk about any topic they want about visual effects. We can talk about the state of the industry. We can talk about compositing. We can talk about CG. We can talk about AI. We can talk about anything you guys want to do. This is an opportunity for you to bring in a topic into the show and for us to all have a discussion as a chat, and also like for you to communicate to the industry, because obviously the stream is going to be watched by a lot of people as a VOD as well. We had about almost 1,000 views during live, but now the stream is at 1,600, so that means we had another 600 people that watched it after the fact. So it's really, the best place if you have something to say and if something that you want to put it out there, this is the place to do it. Hi, Brian. How are you doing? From Ireland. I'm going to go to Ireland soon. I've never been in Ireland. I'm going to actually visit Ireland in a couple of weeks. Just for travel, just for vacation. Me and Anna are going to go to Ireland in a couple of weeks, which is going to be nice. Yeah, thanks so much for being here, man. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to put it out there as usual. I have a giveaway, which will be done more to the end of the stream. We're going to give away my Nuke course. And so if you want to join the giveaway, you can join by that link, or you can use the QR code, or you can use the link that is on the screen right now, or the link that is on the chats, both chats. I am streaming simultaneously on YouTube, and I'm also streaming on Twitch as well. Now, I'm going to warn you already that I'm going to be a bit out of breath sometimes on this stream. I am sick. I am with a cold. And so I'm a bit nasal, and my voice is a bit broken, and I kind of breathe quite a lot because I'm kind of like very blocked because of my cold. So if anyone has anything to say about hearing my breathing on the microphone, I apologize that you can hear it. I'll try my best to breathe out of the microphone, but please be kind enough to understand that I have a cold. So I am sick. And so that is why probably you're hearing the breathing being a bit higher. And I'm going to try to put the microphone a bit more far away if I need to, if it becomes a big of a problem. And I'm going to keep drinking a lot of water because that's what usually works as well before I get my yeah. Hey, Joseph. This is a great question. Is there any updates with your visual effects supervisor course? So this is a great question, Joseph. So I've been really up and down with this. Like, should I still do it? Should I not do it? Is it too late? You know, with all the AI things and all the tools that exist now, is it still necessary to do a VFX supervision course? Would it still be worth it for me to spend months and months doing a course like that? Some days, Joseph, I'll be very honest, some days I think not, and other days I'm more positive and I think yes. And even if only a few people will watch it, I feel that it will be worth it. As my, I guess, if it all goes, you know, if it all goes badly, at least it's like my last course. But I kind of feel like, I don't know. You tell me, Joseph. Do you think I should? You think I should still do it? Thanks, Robin, for wishing me well. Thank you so much. I am better. I was much worse than a couple days ago, but I am feeling much better. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so that's the link for the course, just before we forget what we were talking about. Obviously, if you want, you can always buy the course. I would, of course, advise you not to buy the course right now, because the course, I am going to have a giveaway. But if you are interested in buying my course is currently 50% off. You don't need to put any code. You just go to the page. I also have a bundle which includes both the course and the workshops as well. So you can buy it there, but maybe wait until the end of the stream, because you never know. Maybe you'll be lucky and you'll get the giveaway and will win the course, you know. Another thing I wanted to say is that I am very happy to announce that the Nuke disk constructions are going to be back very soon. So they're going to start again in a couple of weeks. So Foundry is back supporting our stream, and they're going to give away Nuke Indie licenses during the stream. So keep in mind with the Nuke disk constructions, which are going to be back for a new season this year. They'll probably start in about 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And as always, we're going to be giving away a Nuke license, and we are going to be talking about some of the productions that I've done, opening some of the scripts. We never finished the last script I was using for Zeiss, so we'll start with that. We'll finish the script that we were doing with Zeiss, and then after that, we'll start using other productions as well. So that's going to be back in a couple of weeks. Also, very soon is the Nuke, the showreel reviews. A lot of people have asked me about this. A lot of people asked me, where are the showreel reviews, Hugo? Where are they? Why are you lazy? So these are the dates for the next showreel reviews. You will find the dates already on YouTube. So I already set up all the streaming videos for all the dates that you can see on the screen right now. So we are going to be doing the honest showreel reviews. For now, we're going to have 4 sessions. We're going to do it on the 28th of April, which is next week on Thursday. And then we're going to have the 4th of April, then the 14th of April, then the 21st of April. If you go to any of these streams, which you can find on my YouTube channel, all of them on the description, there's text and links for you to sign up to the showreel reviews. So if you want to go, you can just go there. But if you don't want to go there, if you feel lazy, I can give you the link. So if you want to sign up to the showreel, sign up here. It's booking. Sorry, book your slot here. Yeah. So I have book your slot here. I think it's that link. Here's the if you want to be part of the showreel reviews, you can book your slot there. That's a Google link where you have all the slots. I'm doing 3 reviews per stream, and so as I said, we have 3 slots on the 28th, 3 slots on the 4th, 3 slots on the 14th, and 3 slots on the 21st. So just go to that link and just basically just sign up to your booking, just book your slot. You need to book your slot. You can also submit the showreel with this link as well. As I said, these links are all existing inside the streams. So if you go to any of the streams that are already on my YouTube channel, and this is really easy. I'll make it really super easy for everyone to see here. So if I go to desktop and I put my little face here, if you go to live here, let me just make this a bit bigger so you can see it a bit bigger. So if you go to live, this is too big. If you go to live on my tab of my YouTube channel, you can see that I have already set them all up here. Currently, we're doing this one, which is the radio show. Sorry, this one, radio show number 3. That's the one we're doing today. If you want to watch the one from last year, here's from last week. Here it is. And then next one is the third, the 28th of this month. We have the first showreel review, and then we have the radio call-in again, and then we have showreel review, another call-in, and then another showreel. So I've set up all the streams I'm going to do all the way until the end of April, pretty much. So we're going to have another 2 call-in shows, and also the showreel review. At some point during this week, I will put in here the Nuke compositing disk constructions as well. So you'll see them as well. And I'll announce them during the streams as well. Don't worry. I will try my best to do that. Yeah. Now, sorry, I'm really losing my breath. Sorry about that. I wasn't expecting to lose my breath so easily. Because of my cold. Yeah, Joseph says, I very much understand that. My motivation goes up and down as well for compositing. I think supervision course would be great because I feel the knowledge from that would be priceless. I know what you mean, Joseph. I do know what you mean, and I do think, I wish I would have done this course like 5 years ago. I'm just a bit conscious that some of the things that we're going to cover on that course might change quite rapidly. But it doesn't really matter, really, to be honest. Maybe that's why I'm saying that I have ups and downs. I still think that I should still do it because it's still fundamental information of how to shoot something. Although AI might replace some large parts of our pipeline, we still need to film things, and we still need to reference things, and we still need to fix the things that are there. So one of the changes that I've already started toying around with is to incorporate AI in some way on my supervision course as well. So that's kind of why. Mikhail is saying, I wonder how many people will recognize a VHS tape. Probably should replace it with Betamax. I know what you mean, but I'm Portuguese. And so Portugal people use VHS tapes. That's what we use. We never had Betamax in Portugal. And so I understand that Betamax is a more common thing in the States, in the UK as well. But I'm going to leave the VHS, man. I have a Betamax recorder now. Now that I'm older, I have one, which is a bit pointless because now we don't need them. But I do have one now. So, okay, last but not least, just to give a final shout out to... if you are interested in good food, I always do this on all the streams. Don't forget to support my wife's book. It's called Green Recipes for All. It's a wonderful book, really good food, vegan and vegetarian food. We have a Kindle version, we have a hardcover version, and we have also a paperback version. If you like good food, you should definitely check it out. And also, of course, support small independent creators like my wife. So I'm going to put the link here. No pressure. If you guys like good food, it's a great gift as well. Think about that if you ever want to give someone a nice, good book of good food. That's the QR code. The link is on the chat as well. I think this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. I already talked about the giveaway. We already talked about the return of the honest reviews. And I already talked about everything else. So I think we are good to go. So we have... I have no, like I always say, I have no idea what the topics are going to be. I have no idea. I didn't prepare this. There's no bookings. who knows what topics we're going to have today? Who knows? No one knows. That's the beauty of the radio show. So I'm going to share the link with everyone here. So if you guys want to join the radio show, you just need to go into that meeting group on Google. Now, keep in mind that it's going to be first come, first serve. I don't really have a way of doing like a order system, so I'll try my best to see who is in it and who's showed up first, and I'll try my best to make a note of it here. And so I do apologize if someone is going to wait a little bit or if they don't get in right away. But if you have something to say or you want to introduce a topic of any kind, if you want to talk to me or talk to the audience or even talk to the community, this is your chance. So it's open to everyone. You know, I just ask for people to be kind and to be constructive. That's the whole objective of these calls. And I already have someone coming in. So I'm going to bring them in and let's see what happens. So let's see. This is your chance. So it's open to everyone. Hello there. I can hear myself. So could you mute your stream on your side?
I've muted it. How are you doing, Hugo?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Good. Right. Now, the thing I wanted to say to you is, what's your view on those Blender users who have been attracted to that piece of software for many years because it's the nature of it. It was open source and free, but now Blender are positioning themselves into the more professional element of the VFX industry and bringing with it a whole raft of Blender users who are now aiming themselves and fighting for those high-profile VFX jobs that we're all the rest of us are going for as well.
Well, I guess it's funny that you actually mentioned this because first of all, thank you so much for calling, Peter. Thank you so much for calling in the show. Before we jump in, because you went right into it, can I ask you where you're calling from?
I'm in Wiltshire currently, in the southwest of the United Kingdom, just south of Bath.
Okay, you're very close. You're not too far away from me then, because I'm in the UK as well. But I'm in Teddington, so it's like a bit more south. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So okay. So it's a great question because especially now because you just saw that a motion picture made with Blender completely won the Oscar for Best Animation with Flow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it is a great question, and I really feel that Blender is really positioning itself to become an industry standard more and more,
That's right. I mean, from what I understand, Blender are changing their business model into making it a subscription-based software. They're changing their underlying engine to make it more competitive with the likes of Nuke and all the other things. So they are really going for the top flight VFX stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I think it's going to happen more and more because Blender is going to start to become, well, it already is it's an entry level for all the artists really, because if you look at the new generation of artists, not the ones that did the normal process like us, from my time I went to university and then I learned After Effects and then I learned Nuke and Maya, and it was the normal process of going to school. Most artists now, the new generation, are learning by themselves. They are on YouTube and they buy courses, and of course, Blender is the first foray into VFX because it's free and it's so easy to get. The same way that editors are doing the same with DaVinci as well, because it is free. I think the editing world is also changing very rapidly because of DaVinci as well. And so I do think that, of course, having said that, I think Blender does need a lot of changes and a lot of extra things for it to really be competitive, for it to be considered a serious contender to become a 3D application of choice for the big studios. And
I understand that. However, those people that use Blender and have done for many years, and you only got to look at YouTube. There's 1,000,001 tutorials on how wow and whizzy Blender is, and how you can do all the top flight stuff with it. And people are replicating scenes out of Star Wars, for example, with it. So their mindset, I think, is they are, see no reason why they can't themselves with Blender and with the tools they've got now go for the top flight SFX jobs.
Well, it's not as easy as it seems. Like, I don't believe it's just because you've replicated a Star Wars scene or have done a really good, cool scene in Blender on YouTube or on a channel. It doesn't mean that you can actually work in the on the films industry. It's a bit more complicated than that. I think sometimes people kind of forget that you have to work as a team. It's a very large project. It has a lot of people. The pipeline has to be flexible to work with multiple people working on the same shot. And then not to mention you have feedback and you have clients and you have directors and you have producers. There's a lot more than just making the shot. Making cool shots.
Yeah, I mean, my point on that is, yes, you and I both know that,
Yeah,
and
I know.
everyone actually in the industry knows that. But those, younger generation coming into SFX through Blender don't, and they think that they can, because they can do it in Blender, they can, have no concept of the reality of a big SFX studio,
Yeah.
but they think they can compete with them anyway.
Well, they will of course try, and they will probably get in, and they will probably. I know you know that. I'm just talking to the audience, of course.
Yeah.
But I think they will discover very rapidly when they get into the studio that it's not as easy as it seems, and I do feel that it's never, for me, and I'm sure for you as well, and for most people that have been on the industry for a while, it's never been about the tools anyway. Like, it's never been. The tools come and go, and they show up, and they, I've by myself used so many compositing tools over the years, and I am now using Nuke, but who knows what happens in the future? Maybe something else will be used
Well,
soon.
that's right. But don't you think though, this is actually the battle we don't know about, whereas the one we do is, as we've all been talking for some time, AI.
Yeah, that's a different conversation, of course, but
yeah.
I think the Blender thing is, people should really focus on learning. Obviously, I think Blender is a fantastic tool for you to learn and get your understanding of what 3D is and have a total understanding of shading and lighting and animation, because it's a very all-round application that really can push you into the right direction. But once you get into if you get into a big studio, you're going to have to use their own tools, and you're going to have to use their own pipelines and their own plugins, and maybe Blender, because some studios do use some of it in Blender. But it's not going to be... The problem with big studios is that from my experience, they're always going to be a little bit, a bit worried about putting Blender as a tool on their pipeline. The main thing with that is because and that's why you were saying that Blender is about to change it to a subscription and to a support level. This is always going to be the problem for the big studios. The big studios prefer to pay because they know they can have support, and they can have, contact on the company, and they can have follow-up, and they can actually solve tools, and they can solve bugs, and they can solve their pipeline problems. People sometimes don't know these things, but like when I was at the mill and we were first starting using Arnold, we were using the beta version of Arnold. We were just starting to use it for the first time ever in the world. We were in communication with the developers. We were giving them feedback, transforming the tool, and making the tool fit into the several pipelines that we had. And so I think people sometimes forget that companies prefer to pay and have a support team so that they can do it. Because if Blender is going to be free, and if it's a completely free application and it has no way for you to really solve the problems rapidly in the middle of a production, that is going to become a problem for a big company, and is also going to be a very heavy production cost because it can halt the production, So there's a lot of sides of this conversation,
Yeah, there is. You're absolutely right. But I mean, Blender themselves their people did a presentation a while ago saying that they were going to go subscription, saying that they were going to change their underlying engine that drives Blender, and saying themselves that they are now targeting the sort of higher profile SFX industry. So I mean, people are going to get ideas. The people who existing users of Blender are going to get ideas that that's the way they should be going, and they're all going to be fighting for jobs and projects in the in the visual effects industry. Whereas we're all those existing and established VFX artists are already having to fend off competition from AI and people just putting together what they want, how they want. And now we've got this whole raft of other potential competitors coming up through the ranks, if you like, and diluting the industry still further.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's a problem, of course. But I feel like there's no answer or no way to fix or to solve this. It's the dilution of the industry and the advent of AI and the way that it's going to change the industry is already here. We don't really know exactly what's going to happen. I do feel that I do see that a lot of the AI development these days, it is also a lot of noise. There is a lot of things that don't really work, and a lot of things are really just being shown to increase valuations of companies and have better investments. And so, a lot of times when I see these videos or these posts saying the cinema world is over because now we can do this and we can do that, I always take it with a grain of salt, because it might not be completely true what they're showing, because they might just be trying to get more investment to try to get to what they want. And it's always, because if it was really true that they could do exactly what they were showing on those tools, I think the visual effects industry would have adopted it more than they have so far, and they haven't, because a lot of us have tested some of these tools, and these tools not always work as they describe, you know.
Exactly that. But we don't you think that AI is basically just a happy accident right now? In as much as when people use AI, they put in what they want, but they get a result out of it that they didn't envisage, but they run with it anyway.
Yeah, it's true, and I do believe that that is happening because the in reality, this is a bigger conversation, but in reality, AI is not AI at all, and that's, I think, the biggest problem here, because it's not a sentient being that is trying to think about something. The AI tools that exist right now, they are just machine learning tools. They're just like tools that look at all data and dilute it into single images, and so it's really just a brute force approach. In reality, it's almost like if I wanted to do a painting, let me watch all the paintings of the world and then try to make a painting out of that. It's just a bit. So it only looks at the past to develop something new, and that is a bit of a problem, because the creativity in the world and the way that it developed over the years, over the centuries, with art and music and film and now, of course, video games as well, it's always been, a lot of it is sometimes in conscience, a lot of it is not actually, sometimes they don't know where the ideas came from, sometimes it can maybe come from multiple things that just popped up onto their minds, or it could be from a dream, or could be from an inspiration, or sometimes it's from an experience that they've lived, or an accident that they had, or some big moment in their lives that have happened. So it's always been connected with your life, and art has always been connected with things that happen to the artists. And so the AI tool is really going the wrong way, I think, because it's not about knowing everything and making something. It's never been about that. And I think, I don't believe really that this is the AI that we all. I think there will be other AIs that will come in. I'm not sure how they're gonna brand them, because then they've already used the word AI, and now it's gonna be complicated to use, AI 0.2 or super AI or maxim AI, or this is in a way why some companies are trying to get out of that word. If you look at the Foundry, they never talk about AI, they talk about machine learning. Whenever you look at Apple, they don't talk about artificial intelligence, they talk about Apple intelligence. So that companies are already pivoting on that sense, because they know that this is not going to last, this word.
No, quite. AI is still in its infancy, and let's face it, most computer hardware, unless it's a specialist server somewhere, hasn't got an NPU, hasn't got the capability to run AI to its true extent. Therefore, the results, regardless, are going to be limiting until such times as the hardware catches up.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so I guess, well, first of all, Peter, thank you so much for bringing that question, because I think Blender has been discussed on my show a few times, and I think over the years I I'll be very honest. I've never used Blender myself, never. But I can look at it and see how the potential of it and how amazing it's been transforming our industry, and how much real productions have been using it lately. You know, not to mention Flow that just won the Oscar, but you know, even a couple of years ago, we had a really big production that used Blender quite a lot, which was RRR, this big Indian visual effects based movie, which was a fantastic movie, and it had a lot of Blender on it as well. So Blender is already starting to creep into the industry, but I think people need to understand the companies first of all, they take a long time to change pipelines, and also they're gonna want support, and they're gonna want through roadmaps with softwares. They don't want to just use a free software. It doesn't really work for them, especially the turn of a company usually is like every 7 years or every 6 years they change something or they update their pipeline, and it's incredibly hard for them to change their pipeline mid-production. And a lot of these studios are completely fully booked, or they are really busy with the productions that are existing in the table right now. So it's going to be a quite hard, difficult moment for them to pivot or to change, unless something closes. Like the reason why we changed to Nuke was because Apple killed Shake. That was the only reason. So, you know, if for some reason Autodesk kills Maya, or Houdini shits the bed in some way, then yes, maybe there's an opportunity for Blender to come in and swoop that problem that the industry has. But until that moment happens, I don't know. I find it very hard for Blender to really truly replace Houdini and Maya, not only because it's so intertwined with the industry, those two applications, but there's also so many artists working on it and so much pipeline into it. So Blender has a really hard uphill battle to do if they really want to become a standard for the industry. No.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that is the way one of the senior, I think, directors or something stood on a stage and gave a presentation only a couple of months ago, and he said that's exactly what they're aiming for now, and it's a big wow, and Blender needs to raise all this money so they can change the underlying graphics engine, and position themselves as a far more superior product. Now, Blender have been falling foul of the fact that they are just so diverse right now, and as much as you can edit video, you can do VFX, you can do graphics. I mean, I used to be part of a company which did drone swarm displays, and they used Blender to create the display profile. It's not how it actually runs, but that's what they used to create it in. So Blender right now is so diverse, and it's attracting all kinds of people for all kinds of reasons. And once they get hooked and get into it, then they sort of tend to go off and do different things with Blender, and then think once they've done that, they can become top flight VFX artists. And compete with the rest of us in the big industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Cool, man. Peter, I thank you so much for joining. I have other people here that want to join as well the conversation, so I'm gonna leave you to it, and I'm gonna bring in the next person as well. But thank you so much for joining, Peter.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks very much.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so first off, I'm going to put the link again. I already have someone else here to come in. I'll bring you in a second. Don't worry, Mikhail. I'll bring you in just a second. Just wanted to mention really quickly. Thank you so much, FoxHunt83, for the Prime subscription on Twitch. Very, very thank you so much. You've been subscribed now for 2 months. Can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for you to support the channel like that. Thank you so much. And I with the support you have done, Foxhound, you can at least help me to continue this stream and to because as you probably guys noticed, I don't really have a sponsor on these streams. So any support or help is very welcome for me to continue these streams. So thank you so much, Fox. Okay, so let's bring in Mikhail and see what he has to say. Hey, my friend, how you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I know you've called many times on the show, but if someone doesn't know you, can you tell the audience where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm currently calling from Indonesia. I work as a freelance 3D artist and VFX compositor / supervisor.
Okay, cool. Well, tell me things. What would you like to say, Mikhail?
Yeah, I would like to tell about Blender.
Yep.
Like, as a person who worked in Blender for around 25 years,
Yep.
I started like in like late 90s, maybe working in a Blender. Uh, uh, I, like Blender, I think was my first 3D software that I worked. Then I switched to 3D Max. Then I switched to Bryce, Maya, Houdini, Cinema. Like I use it all. And in the end, I circled back around to the Blender. Uh, why? Because for me, Blender is not just because it's free. Because for me, it's more intuitive, fast modeling. Uh, if you make models from the scratch, like either hard surface modeling, either it's PCG, either it's sculpting. Um, Blender uh, don't put too much sticks in your wheels and allow you to model very fast.
Okay.
And you can always like quickly switch between like I can start to make a model from the scratch using like basic shapes and hard surface modeling. Then I can switch to uh, sculpting, change the shape. Then I can use this sculpted model and procedurally generate new shape from this sculpt, and then circle back to the um, hard surface modeling. Also, if I need to like paint stuff, if I need to texture stuff, I don't need to like switch to Photoshop and back and stuff. It's like very easy to do in one software, and it's not just problem with switching to the software. Like I can like switch to the Photoshop, like fix the textures, came back. Uh, it's more like fast to do it in one software.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in terms of working with the images, it's not as flexible as Photoshop. You working with the materials is not as flexible like as Substance Painter or Designer, but it's all in one software.
Yeah.
I can, with one hand, I can change model, and with other hand, I can change materials,
Yeah.
and I can do this all in one software quickly.
I understand all of that, Miguel, but you see, just that alone, what you just described, is one of the issues you're going to find of trying to use Blender on a mass theme based visual effects company. Obviously, I know the visual effects companies themselves are changing dramatically, and so I think that a lot of companies are now rethinking their mass staffs and rethinking that maybe we don't need so many people to do a single film and maybe we need to reduce it. But what you're describing is a generalist position where you do everything. You texturing and modeling and shading and doing lighting and doing everything as one single person, which is usually what Blender users do. But that doesn't really, the problem with and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why Blender doesn't come in more into the industry, is because it doesn't work like that in a big film. In a big film, you have one single person doing the texturing, one single person doing the lighting, and one single person doing the modeling, and one single person doing the compositing. And if everything is separated, because for you to deliver in time so many shots, you need to put more people in the production. In most companies, have very robust pipelines driven around Houdini and driven around Maya to accomplish this, so that they can have a pipeline, like a lot of them use an USD pipeline so that they can load the scene by multiple people and then change a few things and then go back and in and out of the project without really affecting the main shot. And so I think a lot of artists on Blender are not used to that. They're not used to, they are more used to doing everything. And that is often something that doesn't really fit into a big film. It fits into commercials, and it fits into short films, and fits into smaller productions, but it doesn't really fit into a, to a creator or a big film like a Marvel movie, or any of those films have so many shots that it is a bit complicated for you to drive the entire production with just a few people that know everything they're trying to do, because you're going to have a huge delay in delivering the shots, because the person is going to have so much work to try to do the scene. So obviously I'm saying this, but I do think also that the industry is changing rapidly, and I feel that we're going to see more and more situations like Godzilla and like Flow, where we had small teams doing something and small teams using much more off-the-shelf tools. So things are changing there, but right now it hasn't completely changed yet. And so it's all cool that Blender is really good at modeling, or really good at this, or really good at that, but it doesn't matter, unfortunately, because it has to do with the artists, and since the artist is what people hire, they hire on the companies, and whatever the artists are using is going to be what they're going to use on the production. Because if you need to find 1,000 people to do a production, it needs to be, you need to drive your pipeline through that. So if 1,000 people sign up for a film and 900 of them use Maya and 100 use Blender, they're gonna use Maya. It's a problem. I think it's too early. I do think it's too early. I think Blender needs more years to mature, and it needs more people. We need bigger and more more senior artists using Blender. Until that doesn't happen, that shift won't happen. You know what I mean, Mikhail? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely understand
Yeah.
about the difference between generalists and
Yeah.
specialists. I worked on the project as a pinpoint specialist, and I worked on the projects like completely from scripting to delivery just by myself. And I completely understand and agree with your point. But I can argue about most of the users of Blender being generalists,
Mm-hmm.
because I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists who configures Blender to do one specific task. Like Blender is 3D software,
Mm-hmm.
like basically.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else is additions. But I know person who does editing completely in Blender. He didn't even know like how make a cube in a Blender or place a camera. Like he don't touch 3D stuff at all. He works just editing, like make like quick edits, like making animatics like bordermatics and stuff. Other person I know, he does compositing in Blender.
Mm-hmm.
So solely in Blender because he don't have money to afford a Nuke license for commercial use. And me, for example, I use Blender for 25 years, and there is like not a button I touched in the Blender. I use everything. But it doesn't mean that I use it everything in a project. For example, right now I use Blender mostly for modeling and for procedurally generated stuff. Also, it's have a built-in Python compiler, so you can like code stuff and like make your own tools inside Blender. That's basically like making like tools, making R&D and modeling. That's I'm currently using. If I need to use particles, I use particles in Blender, volumetrics and stuff. But if it's like becomes too much, like over like several million particles and very like dense volumetrics, I instantly switch to Houdini.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah,
Of
if
course.
I need if I need like complex motion graphics, I switch to Cinema 4D.
Mm-hmm.
If I need also like very simple shots, I do tracking
Mm-hmm.
in a Blender. If it's harder, I do it in Nuke. If it's even more harder, I switch to F-Track or
Mm-hmm.
Synth Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in commercials and movie industry, they use Blender like me. They use like for pinpoint stuff that it's like mostly it's modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And um,
we don't need we don't we are all in agreement that the Blender is a fantastic tool. I will I've never ditched Blender, and I've never really said that it's not a fantastic tool. Of course it is a fantastic tool. I'm just making a point that the industry is very agnostic. We use a lot of things, like as you just described, you jump from software to software. That's
exactly.
a very common thing. And so what I don't really appreciate sometimes, and you haven't said that, but I do feel that sometimes I see in streams and also on YouTube channels, and I do think that Blender users sometimes have they have a bit of a chip on the shoulder, that because they think it should just be used with Blender and we should just all use Blender and that's it. It doesn't really work that way. We use everything, and it doesn't really matter if you tell me, oh, Blender has a really great compositing tool, oh, it does this wonders. It doesn't really matter, because Nuke is the industry for compositing, and I'm like, well, I'm going to use whatever most people are using. It is a numbers game as well. Like, you're going to be using a lot of different tools, and some tools are going to be more successful, other tools are going to be less successful. Blender is going to be another one, but I think if Blender really wants to tap into the industry, as I was talking with Peter just before, the only way they're going to find themselves in the industry is if they have a robust support team, they have a subscription model, and they actually have a more commercial side. That is the only way they're going to be taken seriously into the industry. And I think that's just because the industry needs roadmaps. The industry needs to know where the software is going. The industry kind of needs to know how things are going to progress over the years so they can think ahead in 5 years. And I'm talking about like really big companies. Obviously, I think on the other side, I think also big companies are going to become something less common. I think it's going to be, we're going to have less of these really huge companies. A few of them are going to survive, but I think a lot of them are going to close, because it's also, the industry is also changing. We are starting to have these really, really, really big productions, and we have these really, really, really small productions, and obviously softwares like Blender are going to be perfect fit for smaller productions. It's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you use Blender and DaVinci and anything you can find for free, Fusion? And why wouldn't you use it if you're going to have a budget of $1 million or less? So it's a no-brainer, because these softwares are too expensive, the other ones. So yeah, I agree with you. And I think but it's cool to see. It's really great to see how Blender has become so mainstream lately, and especially because of Flow. I think Flow is really going to help a new generation of artists to believe that they can do it, which is great. I think that's the best part of it, is for people to believe that they can use something like Blender and actually maybe even win an Oscar, which is exactly the inspiration story you need for it to become more successful.
Yeah, and about that also the point I wanted to tell about that commercialization and trying to squeeze Blender into the industry. The way it works exactly as you told, they are planning to make a subscription-based version of Blender.
Yeah.
And it will be solely focused on like industry level support.
Mm-hmm.
They also planning, as I heard, to make some additional tool that will allow Blender seamlessly interwork with like existing pipelines quickly adjusting or like if like company have like existing pipeline based on some software, they will this additional tool will allow Blender to work with this software in sync like fastly. That's one of the main reasons they are very focused on right now on USD, because USD was like in Blender for many years, and it was like, it is. We have this, yeah, okay. But right now, in the latest updates, they are working like very like tediously on proper USD protocols, so it will like seamlessly work with USD based pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
And about like Blender everywhere, like people talking about Blender, you should use Blender, you should use Blender. This I can also tell about that. For example, if like imagine you are like starting artist, you want to learn how to model in 3D, and like you trying to choose software, and like if you want like do proper character animation, like what do you use? Maya, of course. You tell someone like you need to use Maya. Person look at price of Maya. It opens, looks at UI of Maya, and like you don't want to leave anymore, because Maya have very robust UI system, but it's very complex to learn. Blender, it's like insanely stupidly easy to learn. It's like I pushed so many people into modeling, just basically like with 5 minutes lesson how to do basic stuff in Blender, and then like here's YouTube, here is like website with a manual of Blender, like and that's it. And they started to work on the modeling. And I can also give example like in the past, if you wanted to to make your own game, to like start to work in the game industry, you need to learn programming. You need to learn C. You need to learn all the like complex stuff, libraries, and like you need to basically become programmer. But when Unity and Unreal appeared, there was like so large boost of new game makers, because it's easy to make games, because you can like put some nodes, connect the nodes. It's very intuitive, it's very simple, it's like very understandable. You don't need to like have a degree in programming to like start to I don't want to learn how to program, I want to make games. And Unity and Unreal allows this to person easy start to make games.
I understand. Hey man, I understand all of that, but it's not about that. Like that's the thing. Like it doesn't matter if it's easy or not easy, or because it's not. I understand all of that. That Blender is super easy. People keep telling me this, and a lot of other softwares were very easy in their time, and they are gone as well. It's not about how easy the software is. It's about how it fits into a pipeline and how it fits into the rest of the company that is working on that production. So it doesn't really, some softwares are hard, and that's it. Like there's nothing you can do about it. And to what you just mentioned about Unity and about the advent of Unity and Unreal of being so easy to make games, I see that. I know it's a really cool thing to see, but if you look really closely, I mean, the game stores are now flooded with trash. There's so many fucking games on these stores that you can't even find a game when you're looking for games. And, you know, out of 100 games, it's just like trash games and there's one good there. So, yes, it opened up the floodgates to a lot of people. Anyone can do a game. But has it really helped? I don't think so, because now we have thousands of games instead of just one game or two games, and a lot of them are a bit shit because, yeah, you're right. You don't need to program to do a game, but maybe it helps if you program for the game to be better. So it's, I don't know, like, this conversation is a much more complicated conversation. It's going into games industry now, and for me, it's complicated to see it that way. I don't feel like it has to do with how easy a software is or how free it is, or it has to do with what people are choosing to use. And people sometimes use hard software, sometimes use, it's much more, the industry is much more agnostic, and we use a lot more tools. And I don't think there will ever be a solution. Oh, you need to just use Houdini, or you need to just use Blender, or you need to just use Unreal. That will, as much as the companies really would love that to happen, and I'm talking about the software companies, you know, Autodesk would love that, and Adobe would love that we only use the Autodesk tools, or Adobe, we only use the creative tools they have. But it just doesn't work like that. You know, I feel it. Well, anyway, this is a longer conversation, Mikhail. I have a lot of people that want to get into the call as well. So let's continue the conversation, but with other people as well. Let's bring in more people. Okay, is that okay?
Of course.
Okay, cool, man. Yes.
You just to say, like, in the future, like, you always need to stop me, because with me, like, I can talk for hours. Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can talk like for 10 hours straight.
I know. And
So
that's,
you need to stop me.
And that's why I've stopped you, because we have three
Yeah.
other people that want to get into the call, and I am going to give them that opportunity. So thank you so much, Mikhail. And you can come in later as well if you want to. It's not a problem if we ran out of people to talk, but I can see that there's a lot of people that want to talk and chat and everything. So thanks again for joining the call. We're going to move on to another caller as well and see what else they have to say. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, of course, cool. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, you can, yeah. So, first of all, before we move on to the caller, I think we have a lot of people on call here, a lot of people waiting to get into the call. I do know the next one is Joseph, because Joseph has been waiting for a while here. I just wanted to let everyone know, especially on Twitch, like, most people are talking on the YouTube channel. So I am streaming simultaneously on Twitch and on YouTube, but the main stream is on YouTube. The reason for that is the majority of the people are chatting on YouTube, and the majority of the viewers are on YouTube. I'm only streaming on Twitch as well, is because a lot of people ask me to also do it on Twitch. And that's why I'm doing it on Twitch as well. But just so you know, we have like about 60 people watching on YouTube, and we only have like 15 people watching on Twitch. So if you want to know what's happening in terms of the chat, you can always have the YouTube chat open, because there's a lot more people talking there. Just want to let everyone know. And it's funny enough that we're having this conversation. It's the first time we're talking about Blender on the radio show, and I can see Andrew from Twitch is here on the show, on the stream as well. He's watching on Twitch. And Andrew has been, I remember, Andrew, you had so many streams about Blender, so many people always asking you and talking about Blender and this and that. It was always so funny to watch and to see the feedback. Anyway, let's, we need to do a break at some point, but maybe we can bring in, because I know Joseph has been waiting for a long time. So I'm going to bring in Joseph, and then we'll do a break after that. So for the rest of the people waiting, they can come back after the break. So I'm going to bring in Joseph because he's been waiting for a while, and then the rest can call in again. Okay, so I'm going to just do that. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? Can you hear me?
For a long time. So
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, please mute. Yeah, that's right. You need to mute me on that side as well, so I don't hear it twice. So how you doing, my friend? First of all, thank you so much for waiting. I know you've been waiting for a while on the chat to call. Where are you calling from, man?
Yeah, so I'm actually in Florida.
Oh, cool. Excellent. Oh,
yeah.
Is it sunny?
It is, yes, always.
It's always sunny in Florida, and that's cool, man. Well, you'll be surprised to know that it's sunny in London today as well, which is very surprising.
Nice.
But it's cold, so it's sunny, but it's cold. It's just a mirage. It's like fake. It's really cold. So, but
yeah, we usually get hot, hotter, and hot. So that's about those are our seasons here.
Well, Joseph, tell me things. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so obviously I don't want to talk too much about the Blender stuff because we've been talking about that for a while now.
You can do it if you want to. It's not a problem.
so Blender, I've been around the industry. I haven't necessarily been in the industry for long, but I've been around the industry for probably 15 years. And I think Blender should be more looked at like what you like to express a lot as a tool. Blender, yes, can do a lot of things, but there have been a lot of other programs that could do the same thing. And I think like what you were saying with the industry, because the pipeline is so diverse, there's a reason why they don't use one software, because one software it's almost impossible to specialize in everything with one software. That's why we have Houdini, and that's why we have Maya, which is very, very good at rigging characters. And, I know you know all this stuff, but so with Blender, I love Blender as a software. I think it's fantastic I think the biggest thing for me with Blender is it's almost like an entry to the industry. It's for people who are very interested in 3D or whatever program it may be, to be able to just jump in for free and really get the experience from of what they could do with it. Are they even interested in it? Is going in and saying, hey, I love this. This is fantastic. And just to be able to go in and mess around and have a good time with it. I think to me, that's how I look at Blender. I know a lot of people look at it for production and things like that, for independent artists and stuff like that. But for me, because I've used a lot of different tools. I've used Maya and 3ds Max, and I've used so many different programs. And when I was in school, we also did the same thing. I mean, we've used 3D softwares that don't even exist anymore. When I was in school, because they wanted us to learn everything. So
oh man, you tell me about it. For years, we at the mill were still using Softimage years after it died.
Oh my God, yep.
Years. Like we had an entire 3D department that was still using a software which was dead, and we still used it. At least 3 years after it was discontinued, we were still using it. And at some point we had to, okay, guys, we need to switch. And then we switched to Houdini because there was no other way. It wasn't really being developed. No one was touching it. But the love of the software was so big that people could not leave it, And and it was so easy to find artists that knew the software really well. So people need to realize that it's the same thing happened with Shake as well. Shake was still being used at the mill even years after it was killed off. So people need to understand that the industry, if it's a large company, it takes a while to move or to even change. The cycle is it's in years, not months or weeks. It's the same way. We don't use the latest version of a software. We usually use it a few versions before because we're so afraid of breaking the pipeline. So but I don't think people know that until they work on the industry. They don't really know those things because that's not what they're being taught or even seeing on YouTube or because most YouTubers have not worked in the industry. So it's a bit difficult for them to even understand all those things,
Yeah, and I completely understand. There's been so many changes within the industry for such a long amount of time, and there's so many different ways you can do things. I mean, that's one. Most like the industry of light and magic, if I remember correctly, they were using a ridiculously old version of Maya for the longest time. They basically took the shell of Maya, because I have a few friends that work at ILM, and they basically took it and recreated it into whatever they wanted to use it for, like what you were talking about. Yeah. They'd work with the developer, build it to make the tools and do the thing and create their own tools, for instance. So there's so much that's involved with it that I completely understand the need for different softwares and stuff like that. But anyways, outside of Blender, I wanted to get your opinion on something that I don't know if you. Oh, and last thing, I actually do have a friend who actually is a compositor like you, who's been in the industry for a long time, and he's actually been making like Blender to Nuke and stuff like that, like classes, which I think is fantastic. You know, so if people are interested in that, I'm not plugging him. I'm just saying, you know, there's stuff out there like that. So if people are interested in using different softwares to try to help expand their knowledge, you know, like using your course and then possibly using Blender as a 3D software to bring in their 3D, you know, their 3D objects or things like that, I think that'd be fantastic. And then my biggest one of the next questions.
Sorry, just to interrupt, is that course available? Do you wanna post the link, or give me the link and I can post it there, or where is that course available?
Yeah, I can post it in the after the chat here if you're okay. I don't know where you want me to post it.
Yeah, so I don't allow people to post links on the chat because I've had a lot of problems in the past with a lot of porn being posted on the chat, and so yeah, no, that happens a lot. As soon as I turn on the links on the chat, you'll get a bunch of casino links and porn links.
Oh, wow.
I think it's bots just doing that.
Okay, so where would you like me to send it?
Just send it me on the chat of this call that you're doing with me, and then I'll post it on the chat myself.
Okay, great. Yeah, fantastic.
Just do that. But yeah, people don't realize how much bots are a problem on the chats. Like, it's just like,
oh yeah,
it's full of spam. Like, as soon as it's on, it's like, I do have a few people that have permission to leave things, and it's increasing more and more, my moderators and the people that can actually put links, but I always have to be very careful, you know. But yeah, if you send me the link, I'll put it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, he's worked on, you know, like Star Wars, and he's worked at ILM, and he worked on the Avatar movies and stuff like that. He's a really good friend of mine that I went to school with. But anyways, my next question is virtual production.
Yeah,
I know that you do so many things, but I have been so interested in virtual production. I know you said you're probably, because I wrote you on on the school Discord, you know, because I always followed up with you about the supervisor course. But virtual production, I don't know if that's I don't know what the relevance of it still. I'm sure it's still being used, but I would love to see, you know, if it's still relevant at virtual production course. I think you know, them using the live sets with the big screens like they did with Mandalorian, stuff like that. I had some friends of mine that still do that type of production, and I think those are really awesome. I don't know if you personally do those, because I know you do a lot of
I've done that. I've done as well. I've done, yes. In fact, like last year, I directed a commercial for Zeiss, which was filmed on a virtual production set. So in that, it's going to be part of my course as well, because I had that experience, and I got permission from Zeiss, and I got permission from the studio, from the virtual production studio, to show all of that. And so that will be an integral part of my course as well, if I still do the course. That's what I was saying. I was a bit unsure if I still should do it or not. But yes, I have done virtual productions in the past, and to answer your question, yeah, it's very relevant, and still to this day, there are most films, most big productions still have several shots on virtual production, so it's still a very active industry. Not as active or as hyped as it was, because now, of course, all the hype has been sucked by AI, but virtual production is still used on virtually every big show has some shots with virtual production. And the best way of you finding out that, actually, I would tell you is, and I'm not trying to convince anyone to go there, but if you go to my good friend Ian File's website, Before and Afters, or even if you look at his magazine, he does a lot of articles about it. And usually when you go through a film, because now his magazine is for film by film, it's like per production, you then will find out a lot of the shots that were done with virtual production, which is really, you'll be surprised how many films still use it.
Okay, good, fantastic.
Shows. Yeah, it's very used. Yes, absolutely.
And then let's see, my next, I just promote a list so it makes it easier for me to remember. Has there been, because I have all your courses, both the actual, you know, the workshops and the classes. The has there been any drastic changes in Nuke that you think would be like a good addition to add to your course? Like, has there been any drastic that would, like, for instance, just using it as an example, Unreal has changed a lot of things within their platform.
Yeah.
Where any classes that you may have taken in the past, you kind of would need that information, otherwise things would break, or like, for instance, the shuffle node, that happened a while ago, but I think it was a
and I
shuffle
did
node,
new classes, and I did new class. I know what you mean. Like, yes, there is several things that I want to update on the course, because there are several things that actually are necessary to be updated. I even have a list. Like, let me just open my list. Because I kind of like started that process, but it's gonna take a while for me to be able to change it. But definitely, I really need to go in to show the new 3D system. That's one of the things. I think the 3D system now is so much more robust and has so many different tools and so many different types of settings, and the engine is also different now on the rendering side and on the lighting side of the 3D system. So I think the 3D system requires brand new classes. That's for sure. That's one thing that I have. I'm trying to find my notes, but that's one I remember out of the top of my head. But so I found it now. So I need to talk. Definitely, I need to do classes about the new 3D system, and then into the side the same topic, I need to do classes about the USD pipeline as well, which is now more and more used. And I used it quite a lot when I was still working at Rebellion Studios. They have a very robust pipeline with USD. And so I need to talk about USD inside Nuke. And then I also want to talk, and regarding the 3D system, now I have my notes open. Regarding the 3D system, besides the new tools and the new settings of 3D, I also need to talk about Hydra, which is the new engine they have as well. And then I really want to talk about the Unreal Reader, because the Unreal Reader is something that is quite robust, actually, to make object ID passes and to make specialized passes from Unreal in real time. So all those things I really want to touch on. And then, of course, the biggest one of them all. So I would say that there's three things that I want to upgrade. The 3D system, the 3D system, which includes the Hydra, the new 3D system tools, and the USD pipeline as well. Then the Unreal Reader, and then I really need to go into machine learning, because I have not done classes about machine learning yet. So those are the three main things that I really need to upgrade in my course, which I have not done yet, which I'm still doing, and that has to do with changes that came in from Nuke 14 and 15, and I haven't really looked at Nuke 16 yet. It just came out. I haven't really had the time to look at everything that is out, but there's something very cool there, which is the multi-shot thing. They have a really nice, I don't know how good it works, of course, but they have a new tool that supposedly, I don't get my word from it, you can run multiple shots from a single script, which means you can, if you have similar shots with similar types of backgrounds, you can run it through one single script and then update notes and changes to all shots at the same time. Supposedly. That's I'm not entirely sure, of course, if it completely works yet, but that's what I've read,
Okay. And I put the link in the chat.
Cool. So this is the Blender. This is the Blender, Blender to I'll put it on the Nuke course. Cool, man. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I'll give it some promotion. So I'll post it here, and I'll open it as well.
And then I have one last thing, because I know, like I said, I know you have other people waiting. So jobs with like the stuff going on with Technicolor and all the other corporations and companies and things that's going on, I'm one of those guys. because I have a full-time job outside of visual effects work, and like visual effects isn't my full-time job like I wish it was, but I do want to get your input, and I'm sure you've had this on other podcasts, but the overall, like your title says, the overall state of the industry. I have been going back and forth all the time. You know, I couldn't just give up my current day job to go work VFX because it's so unstable. You know, I couldn't, you know, I can't risk my family and my, you know, my kids and things like that to be able to do it. But I struggle because I still want to be a part of it. You know, I want to, I don't care if it's an indie film or I don't care what production it is. I just want to have a good time and I want to be a part of it. And it doesn't matter how that even happens. And there's just been, I mean, I have so many friends, like I told you, that work for DreamWorks and all these other places, and to see them all losing so many jobs is a heartbreaking thing. And I'm wondering, I feel like the visual effects industry just needs like a reset of some sort. Like something has to change. Like there's so many things going on right now. I think there's a strike going on right now with AI. I have somebody who works with the character from what was it, Aloy from the I forgot the name of the game.
It's Horizon
yeah, you know, she was upset because people, you know, there was a demo that got leaked or whatever that had using her voice with AI in her face, you know, and for information. And I'm just, there's just so many things going on within the industry. I'm curious about what you think. I mean, there really needs to be like just a hard reset of the industry, because it used to be such a fantastic, you know, since I've been following you for, I don't know, probably 10 years now, it's something's got to change. That's all I can say.
We talked a lot about this on the last radio show, and I think this
I'll
comes
have to
up.
watch it.
No. I'm just mentioning that this comes up on every radio show. This is now the third radio show that I've done, and I used to do the radio show on Twitch as well years ago, and I think it always came up. I think I'm gonna say the same that I've said last week, and I will keep saying. The industry, yes, you're absolutely right. It has to change. This is not sustainable. We unfortunately lost a lot of time, and we should have unionized a long time ago, and we would have been in a much better place than we are now. We have no leverage whatsoever, and unfortunately, the visual effects industry is a race to the bottom. It's a similar race to the bottom as the games industry experienced years ago. Years ago, when there was the advent of the App Store and every game was $5, and then it became $2, and then became $1, and now it's free. All games are free now, and then they have monetization on top. That was a massive shift to the industry, which are still being suffered today. And with it, games have changed dramatically. Games have been canceled. Studios have closed. There's been a lot of problems in the games industry which are similar to the problems we experience in VFX. But the core of the problem is always the same, is the artists are never coming together, they're never fighting for their rights, they never really unionize, and they never do strikes. I feel that we are a bit of a joke on the industry because of that, because we don't have any strength whatsoever. And the funny thing about this is that we actually are the biggest strength of all of this, because if we decided to stop completely, nothing would come out. Nothing. Like literally nothing. No TV show, no film, no game, nothing would be out. So if the creative industry would decide to do a massive strike, I think the industry would have huge ramifications. The problem, though, is that I think it's too late now to do a strike, because years ago it would have been the perfect fit. The reason I think it's too late now is because if we do it now, it would just it would just accelerate the development of AI to a point that we would completely be replaced in a couple of months, because I think the bigger tech studios are dying for us to disappear, because they prefer that. They prefer to not pay artists. They prefer not to have to pay IP. They prefer for it to all be cost effective and to all be profitable. There's no way around it. The tech companies are interested in not having artists, of course, because they prefer to just have one manager that oversees 10 films, and then they just make those 10 films because it's just content, and it's just like to fill up their streaming apps, because most people don't really care what they're watching. They're just gonna watch whatever is there. And I think
Right.
quality has already been coming down for a couple of years anyway. So I don't think it. I think it will just come down even further, and I don't think people will even care that much about it, to be honest. Which is a shame, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
As I said last week, I don't want to be too negative, but I do think the years of the industry earning a lot of money and having millions and people earning a lot of money per day and the big rates and those days are gone. I think now, I really think that if anyone is coming into the industry thinking they're going to get $200, $300, $400, $500 a day like we used to do, that's gone. That ship has sailed. It's never going to come back. A few people are still earning that kind of cash. That will all be over soon as well. I think the industry is going to rapidly shift to a different model because you can't sustain this. There's no money. There's not enough money to sustain 1,000 people on a production. There's not enough money on cash and float on the production because most studios have so many shareholders and they have so many fiduciary obligations with the shareholders that they only want the profit. There's no space for you to pay anyone because a company's purpose is to earn profit. That's it. Like there's no other way around this. And we're living in a time where profit is the only thing that matters. It doesn't really matter if we lose people or if we lose art. It doesn't really matter for most companies. So I think the only thing we can do as artists is to pivot. We need to kind of change the way we do things. And I think it's already kind of happening if you think about it. Like, I think Flow is a good example of that, and Godzilla is a good example of that as well. Even The Creator is a good example of that. You know, if you look at how cheap it was and how small the budget was and how fast and quick the film was made. And I think films are going to change. And in that sense, I think we're going to have a future of smaller teams with more robust pipelines to make something more simple, just like Flow in Godzilla was. Godzilla is a fantastic movie. It's not the best visual effects movie ever made, but it doesn't really matter. It's good enough, and it's really well achieved, and it's done with a really effective team and a small team, and it was very, very low, the cost, which just proves that it's possible to do it with a low cost. So the cost is one thing. And then the other thing, as I discussed last week, the only way for the visual effects companies to survive is to start to tapping into IP. That's the only way. They have all the artists, they have the pipeline, they have the tools, they have everything. They have producers, they have art directors, they have even people inside their companies that are directors. And so they just need to behave like a production company instead. They need to pull off their own animations, and they need to do their own film studios, and they need to do their own film productions and their own TV shows and their own movies. That is the only way this is going to work for them if they want to survive. Because the race to the bottom with bidding war is not going to go anywhere. The profit is smaller and smaller and smaller, to a point that it used to be 10% and then it became 5% and now it's like 3%, and some companies are even operating in the red. They don't even have a profit. And it's not sustainable. You need to do other calls. You need to get yourself in the ring. If you see all these animation films for kids, do an animation film. If you see all these TV shows, do a TV show. It doesn't even need to be amazing. It can be a starting point, as long as it's some cash gets injected into the company by profitability of that TV show, either being sold or by being broadcasted or being put on a streaming app or on a TV channel or whatever. It's the only way. I mean, think about this. This used to be what Pixar used to do. Of course, Pixar is now part of Disney, so it doesn't matter because they've been bought already. But they used to do that. They used to do their own productions, and then they got bought, and now they will survive because they're part of something so big that they probably will not close. Just like ILM will never really close because it's part of such a big company. I don't believe Disney will will close. I think it's very difficult for a company that big to close. The same way I don't believe Amazon or Apple or Google will close. I think it's too far off for it to happen. Pixar did that. I mean, we have other examples in the world, like Hardman does that. You know, they still do Wallace and Gromit, and they do animations, and they do stop motion animations, and they do their own productions. The productions are made by themselves, and then they sell it to the BBC, and they sell it to Netflix, and they do those deals. But it's their productions. It's the IP is there, like it's directed in-house. There are other companies that do that as well. From experience, from watching on my life, I worked on a company called Nexus. They used to do a lot of short films, a lot of productions in-house that were theirs. I think that's the only way to survive on this climate is for you to do your own IP. It's the only way, because then the IP opens up other things as well. It opens up deals, it opens up books, it opens up merchandise, it opens up toys, it opens up all sorts of things. Just that's how George Lucas became rich. It wasn't because of the film, it was because of the toys. So it's like when he first sold Star Wars, on his contract it said that he wanted to make toys, and no one cared. They said, okay, sure, you can have the toys. No one cares. And that's how we became really rich, by having all the toys. So I think that's the only way, is for the visual effects companies to become production houses. It's the only way, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And apologies for talking for so long. What do you think about that?
No, I completely agree. It's such a complex, situation where, the whole entire thing itself is just crazy. And then obviously that would be, you could probably have conversations for hours about all of that stuff and everything that's going on. Now, I guess I had just one last little tidbit from what we were just talking about. And obviously you don't have to share very much because it's for you personally, but how are you specifically still being able to stay afloat for yourself? Obviously you have a family and things like that. How are you still getting work? Are you still getting, are you still able to do what you love to do? Or how are you doing with all of this?
Well, it's been a lot more difficult. Yeah, it has been much more difficult. I haven't directed something in a long time now. The last thing I directed was the Zeiss commercial, which was, it's going to be 2 years this summer. So I haven't really directed the cinematic for 3 years. And the last year or so, the last production I did was, I was compositing supervisor on a TV show for Amazon Prime. That was the last thing, and it just got released. It's a TV show for Sweden, so it's available on the Swedish Amazon Prime. I do believe that Amazon Prime is available. I think the TV show is everywhere, but it's a Swedish TV show. That's what I mean. And so that was the last production I did. I worked on that for like 8 months or something. And we did like, I think 25 or 30 shots, something like that. No, less. There was like 15 shots that we did. We were supposed to do more, but we did about like 15 shots. And it was just me and 3 other people working on the show. We did the 3D, we did the comp, we did the roto, we did everything. And that was the last, the normal production that I've done. We delivered it in, when did I deliver it? I delivered it in September or October, I think. Like October. I think it was in October that I delivered it. So that was the last project I did. And ever since then, I've had a lot of bids, a lot of requests, a lot of quotes, like, all right, we have this, we have that. And I don't know, I've done maybe 20 quotes or 15 quotes ever since then. And it's been difficult. I have not been able to get the quote passed through because either it's too expensive or they're going to do it with AI or they need it cheaper, or it's been a problem. Yes. It's the money is so short now that the competition is quite difficult. Having said that, things are looking up. I have a potential film that I'm going to supervise and composite soon. It looks like it's going to happen. So it has, I also saw that. So there's always one thing or the other that comes along, but I definitely, Joseph, I definitely think things have slowed down quite a lot, especially in the UK and especially in the... I used to have a lot more work, and to a point that I used to have to refuse work. I used to have to, I can't do this,
That
guys.
would be nice, right?
Yeah, but for years and years, I was in that situation. I'm not on that situation anymore. But I've been fortunate, I have my online course, which brings in some money, and then I have my Patreon, which brings a little bit more, and the YouTube channels brings a little bit more. It's like microtransactions here and there, and I have then the podcast, which we used to have sponsors. We don't have sponsors anymore. That's the other thing. I've been losing my sponsors as well, and nothing against them or they have against me. It's just a general thing in social media where on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers have lost sponsors and a lot of companies have tightened the belt. And so across the board, not just the visual effects work, but also the YouTube work has been dying out and the sponsors have been harder to find. And the sponsors are now starting a new phase where instead of giving you money, they just want to give you an application or a percentage discount, or they want you to do it for the views or the subscribers. And so we're starting to become it's starting to shift in that sense as well as a YouTube world as well. So I think, I am a bit positive with the UK because I think just recently, a couple of days ago, the UK government has announced the tax relief for the film industry and the creative industry, which is similar to the Canadian one that we had a few years back. And so I have a feeling that we're going to have, and it's going to last for 9 years. I have a feeling that that's going to shift a lot of visual effects work to the UK because of the tax relief and because of I think it's 40% relief, 40% tax rebate. It's basically 40% rebate, and it's going to start on the 1st of April. And I think, and it's going to last for 9 years. I think that's going to really supercharge the industry here again and kind of make it a bit more lively. And I think more companies will pop up, smaller companies. I think some of the big ones will continue to close. I think they are too big. That's one of the issues they are having. They have too many offices and too many rentals, and you can't really sustain the visual effects industry with a big office in Oxford Circus or a big office in the central of London in Soho. You can't be... We just saw recently, like the Jellyfish Pictures, they had to close, and then a few days later we saw the post from the company that sells properties. They put the office, the lease for sale, and the lease of that building was $500,000 a year. Like you can't really do visual effects paying $500,000 per year in rent. It's not doable, especially because you're competing with people that have no rent, that they're working in offices in their bedrooms and in their flats or working outside the central London area. So I think the rebate will be cool, will help. I see that on the chat people are saying that there's a rebate on France as well. That will definitely pimp up the industry. But yeah, to answer your question, Joseph, yeah, things have been slowed down a bit, but I think people need to pivot as well. That's what I'm doing. Like I'm doing a lot of things. I still have my VFX work, but I have my courses, and then I have my streams, and then I have my podcast, and I have my Patreon, and I have, I'm trying to do a lot of little things and see which ones work. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off so that you can add some more people on here. I appreciate your time and allowing me to talk.
Not a problem, my friend. Not a problem. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, I'm gonna do a break because we've been going on for almost 2 hours now. So we'll join people after the break. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, man. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we're going to do a break because we've been running for almost 2 hours. Now, no one answered me on the chat about this, but on the beginning of the chat, I did mention... Wow, there's a lot of people watching now. Jeez. Thank you so much for being here. There's 72 people watching on YouTube. That's amazing. Thank you so much for all you... Wasn't expecting so many people watching on YouTube. It's much softer on Twitch, though. I have 72 people watching on YouTube and 16 on Twitch. I'm not sure why Twitch is being so soft these days. I never expected this. When I started streaming simultaneously, I always thought Twitch was going to have bigger numbers. Always. I thought Twitch was the place to be to do streams, but not sure why YouTube is so much bigger numbers. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the algorithm, with how people search it, or it is really peculiar. I wasn't expecting that. But I will continue. I saw some people on the chat talking about that thanking me for having it on Twitch. I will continue having it on Twitch. Don't worry. I will continue having both of them streaming at the same time, because I know some people prefer to, although it's less numbers, I know people prefer to have it on Twitch, so that's not a problem. But I keep saying this, if you want to be more in the conversation, the chat on YouTube is probably going to be more lively, because there's a lot of people on the chat on YouTube talking. Anyway, I'm going to do a break. Next time when we come in, Nevin, I know you just come into the call, but I need to do a break. I need to do a short break to go to the loo, and I need to refill my water and stretch my legs, and just I need a few moments of just like stretching my legs, and I think all of you need to as well. Remember, we always have a responsible stream here, and we try our best to have breaks. I always tell people that the break should be every hour, but of course I've failed that really big today, haven't I? But I was going to say, I did mention this because the reason I started the stream so early today was because I thought I was going to do a stream, and then I was going to redirect to Foundry. And I need to go and check, did the Foundry say anything about their stream? Because they were going to have a stream today at 4 o'clock about Nuke, which was Nuke 16 stream. But I think it's not happening anymore, because I got this solo email saying that they were going to postpone it. Does anyone else know this? If it's going to still happen, or if I'm mistaken, does anyone know if that stream is still happening? Because I don't want to miss it, but if I go to the live show here, I'm just going to double check here if it's true or not. If you guys watch here, so I have it here on the screen. So you see, as you can see, it's a good opportunity for me to show you. You see the chat on YouTube is so much more lively. Look at that. There's so many people talking on YouTube, and on Twitch is just a few people talking. So yeah, and thanks so much, Andrew, for being here. And I'm so sorry that I've dragged you into this Blender talk again. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, you see, this was the. Oh, okay, okay, so yeah. Okay, it's been postponed. Okay, so because you see, it was today, but now it says it's going to happen in 27 days. Oh, wow. Okay, so it was a massive postponement. Okay, so then we're not going to redirect to Foundry, because that was my plan. That's why I did the stream so early, because I was going to redirect to the Foundry. So yeah, we'll obviously do that on the day. So it's going to happen on the 16th of April. We'll do it on that moment. You're fielding VIP on the Twitch chat. Why did you say that? You're saying that because there's so few people that I notice it easier, isn't it? Well, as you see, I have both chats open. I always have both chats open, and I'm always trying to talk with everyone at the same time. But I appreciate that you feel so much more VIP because you're there. Okay, I'm going to do a break, 10 minutes. I need to stretch my legs. I need to get some water, rest my voice a little bit. I did say to you guys that I'm sick. I have a cold. I've sneezed and I've blown my nose during the stream, but I, of course, muted before I did that, so you guys didn't have to endure that. But I'll be right back. In the meantime, during the break, we're going to have a commercial for the lovely book from my wife, Green Recipes for All, if you want to check it out. I will also have a commercial for my Nuke course. Okay? So I'll be right back. Give it 10 minutes. You can put a timer on it as well. And we'll be right back. And yeah, see you all very soon, my friends. 10 minutes.
Hello everyone! I'm super excited to give you a glimpse of my first cookbook, Green Recipes for All, featuring over 50 dishes inspired by amazing Mediterranean food. Inside, you can find recipes made with a variety of fresh, healthy, and versatile ingredients and popular plant-based products. These are great choices whether you already follow a plant-based diet or simply wish to cook a few weekly meat-free meals to reduce your overall meat consumption. In the book, you'll find a wide range of new and exclusive recipes, from soups and big salads to main courses and desserts, as well as some of the most popular recipes here on my channel, such as the perfectly cooked non-stick rice or the tabbouleh-style bulgur and mixed bean salad. Not forgetting a new version of the delicious tofu chocolate mousse. So, if you'd like to have a look at my book and try some of the recipes, just visit any Amazon marketplace and order a copy, which is available in hardcover, paperback, or digital formats. Hope you enjoyed the book, have fun cooking, and see you next time.
Are you interested in learning compositing? My Nuke course is currently 50% off. Join today to have access to 150 pre-recorded classes, 50 hours of training, using real production assets covering industry standard techniques, with over 200 gigs of showreel material, and access to a private Discord channel with over 2,300 students. This course is endorsed by Foundry and has access to a Foundry student license paid separately. Join today at hugosdesk.myshopify.com. Are you interested in learning compositing? My Nuke course is currently 50% off. Join today to have access to 150 pre-recorded classes, 50 hours of training, using real production assets covering industry standard techniques with over 200 gigs of showreel material and access to a private Discord channel with over 2,300 students. This course is endorsed by Foundry and has access to a Foundry student license paid separately. Join today at hugosdesk.myshopify.com.
Hello everyone! I'm super excited to give you a glimpse of my first cookbook, Green Recipes for All, featuring over 50 dishes inspired by amazing Mediterranean food. Inside you can find recipes made with a variety of fresh, healthy and versatile ingredients and popular plant-based products. These are great choices whether you already follow a plant-based diet or simply wish to cook a few weekly meat-free meals to reduce your overall meat consumption. In the book, you'll find a wide range of new and exclusive recipes, from soups and big salads to main courses and desserts, as well as some of the most popular recipes here on my channel, such as the perfectly cooked non-stick rice or the tabbouleh-style bulgur and mixed bean salad. Not forgetting a new version of the delicious tofu chocolate mousse. So, if you'd like to have a look at my book and try some of the recipes, just visit any Amazon marketplace and order a copy, which is available in hardcover, paperback or digital formats. Hope you enjoyed the book, have fun cooking, and see you next time.
Hello everyone, I'm back. Sorry, apologies, my voice is a bit rougher. I'm back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I can see a lot of people are still here. So yeah, let's just continue with the stream. It's been great. I'm so happy that we had, as I mentioned before, I am simultaneously streaming on YouTube and also on Twitch. Obviously, it's a lot more lively on YouTube, so the chat is much bigger. There's a lot more people chatting on the YouTube. We had about 70 something people on YouTube, and we have about 15 people on Twitch. But but just like say Mo said on the chat, he feels like a VIP because he's on Twitch, because he's alone there. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the customary green cola. It's really warm here. Today is really warm. It's like 23 degrees already on the office. I keep saying this. I am not sponsored by Green Cola. I wish I was sponsored by Green Cola. It would have been nice if it was sponsored by Green Cola, but I still am. Anna keeps telling me to email them. I need to email them. I've never emailed them, but maybe I will someday. I really like it. Green Cola is really good. It's an organic cola. It's really good to your teeth because you don't have any of the nasty acids that break up your enamel in your teeth. I'm gonna have my little moment. This is nice and cold. Yeah, I have my green cola here, my Ferrari shirt, because of course, this is the weekend that Ferrari will win. I'm sure they will win the Chinese Grand Prix. I hope they do. They didn't win the other one. I got a package as well, which was nice. I got a package from Play Asia. So I got 3 new games here to play. So I got Dreadout 1. I also have Dreadout 2, which are horror games, and then of course Freedom Wars, which is a game that used to be for the PlayStation Vita and now it's for the PS5. So I'm gonna try those out later on. Just arrived today. And you love those moments? Thanks, Arthur. Thank you so much. Hey, Stefan, how you doing, my friend? Stefan Soretti is on the house. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Hope you are okay. I hope you're not too... I hope you've been rested as well, and hope you're okay, my friend. So can't wait to meet you one day in person. Anyway, what is Play Asia, Sajal? It's a shop, an online shop that sells games for the Asian market, but they have a lot of special editions that don't exist in the UK, and that's why I usually buy some games on Play Asia. So that's why. But yeah, thank you so much for all you sticking around. So I'm gonna put in the link again, so you guys know the drill. Also, before I forget, if you want to be part of my giveaway at the end of the stream, just go to this link. As always, I always mention that. And if you want to join the radio show, where is the radio show? Did it close? Hope not. Okay, no, it didn't. If you want to join the radio show, remember, any topic is possible. Anyone can call in. We've already talked about Blender. We've talked about AI on this stream. We've talked about the state of the industry on the stream as well. So we've done a lot of topics. If anyone wants to jump in to the call, there's your chance. You have the link there, and you can change. I just ask everyone to be kind and to be constructive on their conversations. That's the only thing I want to ask. You're not rested, Stefan? Pushing through the last weeks of making the movie. I hope we can meet in person today. Yeah, man, I wish. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. You're very kind. You rest up, my friend. I know you're very busy right now, but you rest up, and I cannot wait to see what you're doing. I cannot wait. For those of you who don't know, Steph Soretti here on the chat. He's a very, very famous visual effects supervisor. Often works in Marvel movies and DC movies as well. He's a super talented guy. And he's been on the show. He's been on our VFX Notes podcast as well. So you were very kind to gave your time to the show. So thank you so much for doing that, my friend. We love you very much. So thank you so much for the support. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Sajal, the friend of the show. So let's do this. Let's bring him in. Hey, my friend, thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of people know you, but why don't you tell the audience where you're calling from for those of you that don't know you? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, sorry, I was muted. I was talking on mute.
I should do a T-shirt saying, "I'm sorry, you're muted." I should do a T-shirt. It's the most common sentence on calls. You should have a shirt saying, You're on mute.
I know, right?
Yeah,
But it happens so often on Zoom and online
I
calls.
know.
You don't realize you muted yourself and then you talk and then go, oh, they didn't listen. But hey, anyways, my name is Sajil. I work as creative director, VFX Soup, and CG generalist from Mumbai, India. This is just a quick one, really. I noticed something in the Green Gardens recipe commercial today, actually. Like I own the book, so usually during the breaks, I stand up and walk away from my computer.
Yeah.
I noticed that when those books are kept on top of each other, like the book, then the Kindle, and then the smaller Kindle thing,
Yeah.
it's like really precisely placed. How many takes did you have to take to do that?
Oh my god, I can't believe you're calling me because of that. I'll put it on the screen for people to know what you're talking about. You are probably talking about the end here, when we're placing everything on the table here. I'm showing it on YouTube now.
Yep.
So that's the moment, right?
Placed,
So
but the books are precisely placed, and I don't see a cut there. It seemed
well,
like an
my friend, I'm so happy that you don't see a cut, but there are cuts on every single placement of the book. So we shot it, and yes, it wasn't incredibly precise, but we ended up like I ended up cutting. So the way I did this was with Anna, and yes, I've cut all the dead moments in between. So there are certain moments that it lingers a bit, and I trimmed out all the fat in between the takes so that you see all the hands coming through really quickly. The other thing we did was, well, we shot it on reverse. So we had the whole thing was placed already. And then we did the reverse. We took out the books. And that's why it's so precise. Yes.
Yes, that makes definitely sense, because usually when I have eye close-up shots where we are supposed to go in actor's eye, we usually reverse it out. So, we don't accidentally bump the camera into the actor.
I love that you called up to ask a question about a trailer from the book. That's fantastic. But yeah, it's the oldest trick on the book. Reverse something. It's the oldest trick. Reverse something so that you can get on cue. It is used so much all the way back to Buster Keaton and Charles Chaplin. They were using it back then. So it's a really old. Yeah, there's no compositing on that. It's all done inside of DaVinci, but it's really trimmed to the frame, and I've slightly dissolved because otherwise you would have seen the cut on the reflections on the cutlery. So I dissolve in between the cuts so that you don't notice that reflection changes on the cutlery. Yeah. So there's a bit of fuffery there in editing. Yeah, inside DaVinci. Yep.
Very nice one.
And the other thing as well that I forgot to mention is that you notice that it's the other trick that I would tell people is to always shoot with very, very, very big resolution. So we framed later, and I shot the whole thing in 6K. I always shoot everything in 6K. And then from the 6K, I output in 4K. And so that gives me headroom if I need to zoom in or free frame or rotate slightly. And even if the tripod is a bit like wonky or something, it doesn't matter. I have enough room to put it back into place,
Yeah, definitely shoot higher res than the delivery res.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One question, if you don't mind, one more question. Like, I don't know if you might have noticed, but like, take any streaming platform, right? A lot of movies which are not graded for HDR. I found this accidentally recently while watching one of the films here.
Mm-hmm.
So my TV was on HDR dynamic setting, whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing these edges, and I was making fun with my wife. Like, it was a local movie, and I was like, "How was this passed? Like, did no VFX to see it?" And then I realized I was seeing a non-HDR movie in HDR. So what was happening is, how we get those pre-mult and un-pre-mult lights where things brighten up on the edges?
Mm-hmm.
That thing was happening, and then I went into filmmaker mode, which is how it was supposed to be seen without HDR, and there it seemed really nicely blended, and that was quite interesting to me, seeing that like that was not caught on normal TV, but when you put it on HDR, like somehow those edges came back from things,
Well,
I don't know if you have ever noticed this.
There could be a several factors contributing to that. So HDR grading is a very peculiar, very high-end type of thing to do, and you need to have a very good HDR display for you to preview every TV, because you're gonna have to be grading on a monitor that can sustain at least 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 nits. You need to have a really high quality display, because most TVs these days, they can do really high numbered nits, and so the reason why you saw edges, it could be, I mean, I don't know that specific example, but comes to mind that it could be that there's maybe some negative pixels, negative values in the pixels of the edges. Maybe there's holes on the pixels, or non-pixels, or negative values below 0, or very high values on some pixels. It could be that. Sometimes it's just about that. Like if it's a black edge, it might be that some of those black edges could have negative pixels. If it's a white edge, if it's a white edge, it could be that the value of luminance of that edge is much higher than the regular luminance. And so if you have everything clamped on Rexensor 9, you'll not see it because it's clamped, and so everything above 0, above 1 is dead anyway, so you'll never see the brightness level going up. But if you're delivering for HDR, you have to be so careful, because HDR is going to go to thousands of values, and the range is so high. And so as a compositor and as a 3D artist, a LiDAR artist, you need to really be careful to dig deep into your black levels and to your white levels and see if there is any dead pixels, non-pixels, or overblown pixels. And that could wreak havoc in HDR, because if you have a few pixels on your render engine, like imagine if you render in 3D, and imagine you have a few hotspots of 1,000 of value, those are going to be visible on the HDR display as 1,000 of value. And so one of the tricks is for you to soft clamp things, to lower. For that, you should use a vector scope that supports HDR, and then you can lower just the high-end values, or you can clip them. Or usually they soft clip them so that you have a roll-off clipping of those high-end values. Yeah. And that could be the reason why you might be seeing them on HDR and not seeing them in Rexensor 9,
Yeah, I think it might be that the alpha had more than 1 in values because of...
Yeah.
And then the white edges show up.
Yeah.
But maybe whoever graded those things and all that, because it was not made for HDR, they never noticed it, and then the TV picked up,
Yeah.
Sadly, I can't take a screenshot of it because Netflix won't allow me to take screenshot of this. I mean, there are hacks around it, but otherwise I would have put it on Discord, to show the exact thing. But you know what I mean.
Regarding that, because I'm going to say something, but I am not going to tell anyone what I'm doing it for. Well, I am, but it's not for what people think. So a couple of years ago, I wanted to capture PlayStation 3 footage. And the PlayStation 3, for some reason, it has protection on the HDMI. And so the PlayStation 3 is the only PlayStation that has the HDCP 2.2 protection, so that you cannot record the screen and you cannot feed it into a capture card. And so for a long time, people solved this problem by using the component output of the PlayStation 3 and then convert it to HDMI so they could capture the video card. But these days, what I did was I went to Amazon and I searched on YouTube, on Google, and I found that there are certain HDMI splitters that remove the protection. I don't know if they did it on purpose or if it's just a mistake, because it's splitting the signal to do 2 outputs. Potentially, it has to remove the protection so it can be splitting the outputs. And so I bought one of those HDMI splitters, and it worked for the PlayStation 3. And then, just out of curiosity, I tried it on my regular TV box, the Skybox, which has Netflix and has all the other things. And it also removes the protection from those. And so... Yeah, so by mistake, I found a way of not having protection from Netflix. But I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not recording Netflix. I will never do that, and there's no point. I buy, you know me, I buy Blu-rays and do
Yeah, same
DVDs.
here.
I'm a physical media guy. I don't care less about the streaming because it's going to be the worst version of it anyway. It's always going to be so blurry and so compressed. But just so you know, by mistake, researching for the PlayStation 3 capture, I found this way of, and I am sure that's what people do. If you go to Amazon on this specific splitter that I found, it's been for sale for like years, and it has like 50,000 reviews. I'm assuming that I don't see how a splitter can be that successful, but I'm assuming they don't publicize this on on the page. It doesn't say that it does this, but I think it's like it was a byproduct of splitting the signal that removes the protection, you know.
Yep. Jamie Aguirre is saying ton of hardware acceleration. I'm aware of that, but like it becomes so slow to record things. Anyways, I just wanted to record things to show it on these things. Again, like Hugo said, I believe in digital media as well. Like I guess I'm old school too for the goodies in Blu-rays and steelbook editions.
Yeah, me too.
But the thing is, like we don't get all of them in India, or some of them are literally not available. I don't have a huge collection like Hugo.
Yeah,
for sure. I have a small collection.
Hey man, Shader here is asking, is this CG Rockstar talking? Yes, it is.
Yeah. I mentioned. But that's really it. But thanks for that. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Like, I actually came in for the book, and then I remembered that I'd seen those white edges, and I thought, like, have you noticed them around, or what it probably could be?
Yeah, no problem, my friend, no problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. Thank you so much for calling, my friend. We're gonna join in with other people then. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Hugo. Cheers, bye.
So I can see a lot of people on the chat here talking, and someone on the chat, where is it? Yeah, Joseph is asking, I would love to see another collaboration with Victor and hear about his experience with Marvel. So that's gonna happen. It's just that I've been trying to get Victor on the show for a while, but we just haven't been able to synchronize the swatches. Victor is going to come back to the show. He's going to be here again on my Artist Spotlight stream. It's just that and also we promised that he was going to do some show reviews. That is still happening. It's just that he's been too busy with work, and we couldn't. We were supposed to do it in January, then it didn't happen. It was supposed to happen in December as well, then it couldn't happen because I was in Japan. We just have been off sync, but I will do it. Don't worry. This will happen. We will have more and more people live on these shows. I really want to bring in people to the radio show as well, and I want to bring in people more often. Anyway, I don't have anyone waiting on the radio show. We've been going for a while. I don't know if we should stop or if we have any other people that want to talk about. I usually do these between 2 and 3 hours. I don't really have a fixed... But if anyone wants to join the radio show, they can call in. If no one wants to join, we can call it a day. You know, we had a great time. I really loved it. We had like 4 people calling. I can't thank you guys enough. But is there anyone else that wants to join the call, or anyone else wants to call in? I've shared the link on the chat, the Google link. If anyone still wants to talk, we've already talked about AI. We've talked about Blender. We talked about the state of the industry. We've now talked about the secrets of the Green Recipes for All trailer. And we also talked about HDMI protection as well. Is anyone else that want to... Sajel is saying, Hugo, we need the gaming streams. Yeah, I get it, Sajel. I get it. I really, really love doing the game streams, but I'm just going to say something. I hope no one gets this the wrong way or offended. I stopped doing the game streams because I was losing a lot of subscribers because of it. Like, a lot of people were just leaving my YouTube channel. Every time I did a game stream, I would have 3, 4, 5, 10 people leaving. Because you can see, on each stream, you can see how many subscribers you won and how many subscribers you lost. So I'm assuming people didn't like the streams, the game streams. I really enjoyed them. I really loved them. No, man, a new channel, I'm not gonna... No, I can barely do one channel. I'm not gonna do a second channel. I barely can do one. It's so much work. maybe I'll come back. Maybe what I should probably do is just do only a few times. I think people didn't really enjoy the thing of being every day or something. Maybe I should do like lazy Sunday. That would be nice if I do a lazy Sunday stream and it's only about playing games and it's on Sunday and that's it. Anyway, we do have a new person here coming in, so the radio show is going to continue. One quick mention I wanted to ask everyone. Do you hear my air conditioning? I hope not, because it's really warm here and I've switched it on. But if you do hear my air conditioning, I can switch it off or make it quieter or kind of switch off and on. If it's annoying you guys, I can remove it. But in the meantime, let's bring in Nijo. Let's bring them in and see what they have to say. Hello there. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Are you muted? Niju, are you there? Hello? They are on the call, but I don't know if anyone can listen to them. I don't think they can. Are you muted? Oh, yeah, he's left now. Okay. Maybe they can join again. Anyone else wants to join? If no one is gonna join the call, I'll just do the giveaway and call it a day. We've had a long stream anyway, and we had a lot of really nice discussions today. So I'm very, very happy with the stream anyway. So yeah, they're gonna come back? No, I don't think so. Okay, so if no one else has anything that they would like to say on the stream today, then I'll stop the call in and we'll just do the giveaway and then go on our own lives, like, and just do that. I'm just gonna like open up the giveaway and do a quick giveaway here. Yeah, okay. So let's okay, I'm just gonna open up the giveaway. Okay, so cool. Wow, man, we have 60 people on the giveaway. That's great. So I put the giveaway on the list there. I'm gonna just like really quickly while we're so okay, so no one is gonna come in, so I'm gonna close the call and we are done for today. So for the radio show, so I'm gonna close the call for the radio show. It's gone now, and I'm gonna do giveaway, and then we're gonna wrap up this stream. Remember, I did say that we're gonna redirect to the Foundry stream, but the Foundry has canceled their stream, so we're not gonna redirect. So that's not gonna happen. Yeah, well, it's fine. You can hear the AC a little bit. That's okay. It's not a problem. I'm gonna wrap up anyway now. So my voice is a bit rough, and I have a cold, so we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. I'm just going to really quickly just okay, where is it? Yeah, so there it is. That's what I wanted to show. Okay, so this is what we're doing now. We're gonna do the giveaway for my Nuke course. I've put the link on the chat, and that's the QR code and that's the link. I'll give you guys a couple of more minutes while we're doing it. Don't forget that next week, and it goes without saying, if you still want my course is available 50% off right now. So if you don't win this giveaway, you could always join my course anyway. And so, yeah, so... Oh, Niju is now answering. He has a problem with his mic. Do you still want to come in, Niju? Niju, can you still fix it? Or is your mic working now? Or do you still want to come in? You let me know, my friend. If you want to come in, we can wrap up the stream with you. Should I do it again? I feel like you've been waiting a while, and now I just like removed it. Didn't mean to do that. Because you didn't say anything, I didn't know if you had an issue or not. It also gives time people to sign up to the giveaway, which is nice. Let's just see here. I think because I'm starting a new meeting, I think I need a new link. That's one problem, I think. So I might need a new link, or maybe not. Let me just double check. Maybe I don't need a new link. Do I need a new link? I don't know if I need one. Just double check here. No, you can rejoin. Oh, you can rejoin the old one? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it didn't. Okay, so it's the same link. Is it the same link? Let me just double check. Yeah, I think it's the same. No, yeah, it's the same link. Okay. So anyway, I've put the link again. So last call. Do you want to come in? Niju, do you want to come in? Or you don't think you'll be able to come in? Do you want to try it again? Hello? I'm not sure they're coming in. Yeah. No one else is coming in, so... Well, this is riveting streaming, isn't it? So exciting. Apologies for that. While we wait a little bit to see if they can come in or not, I'm just going to, again, mention that remember that next week, that's what I was about to say. Next week, we are back with the Honest Show reviews. So the Honest Show reviews are back on the 28th of April. Sorry, of March. There are 4 dates there on the screen, as you can see. We're doing it on the 28th, 4th of April, 14th of April, and also 21st of April. If you want to sign up to this, all the links are on the actual streams. I've already put them all up on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and you can see them there. But if you don't want to go to YouTube, I can also post them here. So they are by... You need to kind of like book your appointment. It's by booking system only. That's the only way I'm going to do this. And so if you wanna be part of it, you need to book your slot here. I'm gonna put the link for that. So you can book your slot here, and then if you want, you can submit your show reel for there. Okay, so you're in the chat. Okay, so I can see. Okay. That's the link. Okay. Are you back here? Yeah, I don't see you. Could you use the link that I've posted now? Because I don't see you on you're on the chat. I don't see you on the call here. I'll put the link again if you want to join the radio show, Niju. So to get to the radio show, you need to use that last link that I've posted on the chat. See if you can come in, into the radio show, because I don't see you right now here. So yeah, I'll give you a couple of seconds more, otherwise we're gonna wrap up this thing, because it's just not... I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, so join me next week with the Honest Show reviews anyway. And I'll very soon put the new dates for the HUGOSDESK constructs. Those are not up yet, but they will be up very soon. Anyway, I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think they're joining. Maybe next time, my friend. Maybe come back next time. I'm gonna be doing the radio show soon anyway. So I would say let's do the giveaway, and then we'll see where we land. So I'm gonna do the giveaway now and see who won. So let's see here. Giveaway winner. Let's see here. Okay, I have one winner here. So let's see if I can. Okay, so the winner of the Nuke course is. Okay, give me just 1 second, because I don't wanna show your email to anyone. You're still facing mic problems. That's not a problem. Maybe next time. Join me next time. Okay, so the winner is okay. The winner is at HUNVU 1849176. Congratulations. Is that you? Yeah, it is you. That's the same name. Are you my student already? If you're my student, I'll give you the workshops, but I'm not sure if you're my student or not. Regardless of that, congratulations, my friend. You've won the new course. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining the course. That's great. So today is the... Okay, so I'm going to just make a note here so I don't forget the winners. Okay, cool. Congratulations. Yeah, Niju, that's not a problem. You can always join next time. We do this every week pretty much. Don't worry. Your question is still... my question is not still I'm facing the problem. I just want to know about the machine learning updates from Nuke. You're talking about the updates on Nuke, or you're talking about the machine learning updates on my course? Which one are you asking? Well, Vu, congratulations for winning the giveaway. Yeah, I think that's it, really. So we are over today. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. We had about 500 people watching on YouTube, which was fantastic. Potentially we had about 50 or so on Twitch, which was nice. So thank you so much for joining and being here. Apologies if it was a bit too early. It was really because I thought we were going to redirect to the Foundry stream. So I'll see you all next week for the showroom reviews. Will be happening on Friday. Thank you so much for joining. And big shout out to Ferrari. I hope they win the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend. I hope so. That's why I have the shirt. It's here. And yeah, thank you so much. It's always fantastic to have so much love and care on the stream. I can't wait to do more of these. I really love to do the radio shows. Keep it coming. If you guys have any topics you want to bring in, bring them in. I'll be here almost every week chatting about the industry, chatting about the state of the industry, about AI, about Blender, about anything that you guys want to talk about. So I'll see you all later. Thank you so much for joining, and can't wait for the next one. See you later. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.